All right, here we are, fellas. We are back. We're back in the saddle,
Oh
back at
yeah.
this thing again
Very.
today. And today is February 10th, 2022. We're already into the second month of the new year. And man, normally that brings none other than the Super Bowl. So, we're in the Super Bowl season now for real. It's coming up in a couple of days. So we will chop it up about that. And we're also going to talk about a little NBA because the trade deadline was today, and there was a lot of things happening, a lot of movement in the league. So, fellas, we'll talk about that um, in just a moment. You guys ready to rock?
Let's do it.
Uh, it's a beautiful day.
All right, let's do it, fellas. All right, welcome to the 411 Sports World Show. I'm Mr. 411, host of the show. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen there, uh, Mr. Eric is in the building. And
Hey
then
now.
over to my, what's up, E? And then over to my right, my left, and everybody's right that's visual, that's watching the show is Reggie,
What's
part of the
up, man?
KD support team.
Oh yeah.
Hey, they support team.
Right. Got to get my man back healthy.
Right.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I know you're supporting KD in many ways, and I know you can't wait to talk about um, Kevin Durant, your guy. But we'll definitely talk about that in a few moments. But we just got a tad bit of business to take care of before we jump into some NFL talk. We need everyone, support the show, support what we got going on here, and there's a lot of video footage that you can go back and look at. And the way to stay on top of that is to, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification. And here's a perfect example of how to do that.
And you are subscribed.
That's it. All right. Let's get to it, fellas. Um, the Super Bowl is upon us, but we would be remiss if we did not talk about the great one of the greatest football players to play the game, Tom Brady. It's debatable if he's the greatest player of all time. It's debatable if he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But it's not a debate that he's not one of the greatest football players to play. So
Right.
we'll just go around here, man. Whoever want to go first, this is wide open conversation. Just give your thoughts on Tom Brady and his career.
Want to go there, Eric?
Yeah. Tom Brady, what can you say? Most Super Bowl wins, right? Has a generational talent. Uh, Drafted a low draft pick. Nobody expected him to really pan out the way he did. He's one of a kind. He, uh, you want to call him a quintessential player, whatever you want to call him, the best player, probably the best quarterback ever. I think it's still debatable, the best football player ever. But, some people will say yes, some people will say no. We know that he's a winner. We know that for most people, say that he held the highest form of professionalism uh, uh, when he did his thing on the field as well as off the field. One thing you can't dispute that he's a champion over and over and over. How many times? 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
for him to win so much with one team, and then what do we say about he's too old? Can he do it again? How does this work this way? And then to show what kind of individual that he really was at 42 years old, I think it was, he still won, or 43 years old, still won another Super Bowl. So unprecedented in pro football. Um, and there's no doubt that he has a place in history as, again, possibly the greatest football player ever. But I think most people see him as the best quarterback ever.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean,
Yeah, what say you, Reggie?
yeah, just like Eric says, no really denying it. I think Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback there has been this far. It's probably going to be hard to top him as far as consistency with winning, especially with one franchise, and then the way he did it going. It seems like he got better with time. Figured out exactly his way of doing things, the TB12 way of doing things, and New England definitely owes a lot to Tom Brady. We'll give Bill Belichick some credit also, but overall, when it comes down to doing it on the field, Tom Brady, as far as X's and O's, is probably the best we ever seen. With actually, as far as picking apart a team, and he didn't
Mm-hmm.
do it with explosive plays all the time, long balls. Hell, he didn't even do it with explosive players sometimes, but he still got it done and done and done and done and done again. And I think last year that Super Bowl, for me, he was already a great quarterback, but that just solidified it to move away from Bill Belichick, go with the Bucks, new team, new organization. He brought along Gronkowski and Antonio Brown for the ride, but that was all Brady. That was not Bruce Arians. That was all Brady, and that really capped off his year. He could have retired last year for me, and it just rode out on that golden cloud. And there's still talk that he may be the MVP of this year too. So, I
Wow.
mean, the greatest we ever seen at that position.
When you look at somebody that was drafted 199th pick, I think it is, and then after 22 years, 199th pick, sixth round, at one of the most complicated positions, a leadership position, a
Hmm.
complex position, or quarterback, and you say this this guy's longevity to stay healthy, to be able to transcend time, okay, and to change the way the game changed so much and be able to inspire, uplift, and motivate uh,
Right.
guys. What that speaks volumes within itself right there. I mean, 22 years, 199th pick, six rounder, Super Bowls, seven, boy, and guys still want to play with him. And if he, like he said, never say never. So you never do know. The right situation, we may see him again. Did Michael Jordan say that?
That's right.
Right. Right.
99.9,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I looked at a stat in those 22 years. I think he missed the playoffs only two or three times, and of course, one of those times was because of injury. But that's almost like a guaranteed ticket that you're gonna make it to the playoffs.
17
And
division titles, 11 consecutive from '09 to uh, 19. Boy,
almost an undefeated season. If he got that undefeated season under his record too,
hmm
boy, that would have been crazy.
it really would
Yeah.
have something else. And like I said, we
Yeah.
got to
And
give
let's not
Belichick, his coach, a lot of credit also. But the way
Hmm.
that Tom Brady could quietly, in many instances, command your attention, again, with the peer group, with his teammates, with actually wherever he was, it was Tom Brady, and the way he did it,
Right, just respect, just not attention, just
the respect,
respect.
yeah, the class, the professionalism. What can you say about Tom Brady?
mm-hmm.
44 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, and let's not forget this too. Those two Super Bowl losses to the one to the Giants. Remember that one where it was like the helmet catch?
Right.
Um, you know, you could easily add another Super Bowl or two to his resume. So, we're looking at maybe 9 Super Bowls in here. And of course, it was a tight one, a close one against Atlanta with the big comeback too. So if you kind of even it out, you're still looking at a gentleman that could have had probably 8 at least 8 to 9 Super Bowls in there. So it's
Right.
amazing, man, how he did it. I like the points that you all made. That especially in his New England days, not necessarily had a outside that Randy Moss year, didn't really have like what you would call like he's just loaded with a bunch of weapons. But
Right.
he found a way to get it done and lead his team. So kudos to him and a great career to great career for Tom Brady. Um,
Listen at this
Eric,
right here.
you just
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah,
Can
go
you hear
ahead,
me?
Eric. Yeah,
Listen at this right. Three-time NFL Most Valuable Player, 07, 10, and 17. Two-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 07, 10, and 10. NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 209. Three-time First Team All-Pro, 07, 10, and 17. Three-time Second Team All-Pro, 5, 16, and 21. 15-time Pro Bowl selection. Not even going to go through all those years. Five-time NFL pass and touchdown leader. Five times, four-time NFL passing yard leader, two-time NFL pass ratings leader, NFL completion percentage leader, NFL 2000 All-Decade Team, unanimous NFL 2010 unanimous NFL 100 Anniversary All-Time Team, Burt Bell Award 2007, Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year 2007, two-time Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year 2005, national champion 1997, NFL records, most Super Bowls 7, most Super Bowl appearances 10, most Super Bowl MVP 5, most career quarterback wins 243, most career passing completions 7,263, most career passing yards 84,500.
man, it just goes on and on.
Most pass completions in one season, 485. 485. Longest touchdown pass, 99 yards. He was tied to somebody else for that. And you know what? The list goes on and on. So, and who knows? It may not be over still. Wouldn't that be good for the for sports and the NFL if he would come back?
Do you guys feel like he should have played another year, or it's his time to go? Because he's still
Man,
playing at top level.
I mean, he's 44 years old, and he's one hit away from
yeah.
possibly hurting his life or just interfering with the rest of his life. Um, you know, we could easily say as
Yeah.
fan, hey, yeah, I want him to come back because he's still on the top. He's 44. But as he said, it was a family decision, which most of those guys do say. They say, it's going to be something that they're going to talk about with their family and such. Uh, but, if as a fan, I would say, hey, come on back one more year. And then when I think about it as an individual, I probably would say, that's it. I would like to see him just come out, though, because that would just be good for sports.
No, now that he's retired,
Yeah.
I don't like the
Well,
whole
if he
retirement and comeback thing. That it's gonna if he comes back and doesn't win or get that far. And I mean, of course, we'll look at it probably like we look at Mike and the Wizards. We don't really count that, but for his legacy, I think that it's best if he doesn't even come back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Reggie, if he does come back, there's a team that I think would fit him perfectly, and that's the San Francisco 49ers.
I knew you was about to say
They're
that.
they had they're tailor made. Not only is that his childhood team, so he can tie that story all the way to the end, right? He's a California guy, grew up a 49er fan. They got pictures of him in the 49ers uniform as a kid. But more importantly, they have a running game. They have powerful running
Right.
game. They got a good defense. Just the type of recipe, great tight end with Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Debo Samuel stepped up now, has become a top player in the league. Along with Ayuk is a big, strong receiver. So all the groceries are there for him
Right.
to cook. And so if Brady gets that itch, if he gets that itch, and his family says, "Hey man, you just want to go out there one more time and just for that last hurrah and get that swan song, throughout the whole season. Now everybody know you're done." Maybe
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco can try to get them a quick victory there and bridge the gap because they have Trey Lance, the young guy, the young quarterback, and maybe Brady can just hold that together for another year as they bring in Trey Lance. So I wouldn't totally write Brady out yet, but if he does leave, he did leave on a high note. You know what I'm saying? On a high note, because I'm gonna show you guys a stat, and this is pretty much sum up Tom Brady and his greatness. This is how he ended ended his. This is how he's ended his last season. Take a look at
That's
these numbers.
crazy. 44 years old. That's crazy.
It is.
I
Those
mean,
numbers
come on,
are
yeah,
outstanding. Mhm.
that's amazing. And he's stepping away from the game. That is amazing. So if you're gonna step away, look, I mean, that's a way to step out of there.
Right, right. I think
All
they're
right,
gonna give him the
yes,
MVP
sir.
too.
But all right, fellas. So wow, there you go. That's another feather in the cap. So Eric, there's something else you can add to it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
another stat you can add to Tom Brady's greatness.
It goes on
All
and
right.
on.
So yes, it does. And just like the Super Bowl, it goes on and on. And we're in Super Bowl 56. I mean, 56 of these things now. So we're going to talk about this because, I mean, who would have thought, that the Super Bowl would be the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Los Angeles Rams? I mean, who would have predicted that when the season started? It's amazing. They're on a miracle ride here um, into the Super Bowl, and I just like to get you guys, thoughts on the Super Bowl, some of the matchup situations, the way you're going to look at the Super Bowl, and then ultimately we'll get into our prediction. But let's just talk about it right now. E, go ahead and give us your thoughts on the Super Bowl.
Oh, man, it's going to be interesting. Besides the halftime show, but you got Matthew Stafford right there. Didn't he play at the University of Georgia?
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
That is
Matthew
correct.
Stafford, and for those that's listening around the world, uh, this show is coming from Georgia right now, and
Home of the national champions.
that's right. If you didn't know, the Georgia Bulldogs did win. You know, so Matthew Stafford, though, I think I heard a stat by him. I'm riding down the road, and I heard on I think it was ESPN today that Matthew Stafford had played in 80, some about 89 football, won 89 football games. Okay, but
Hmm.
about 50% of those games, he had 50% of those games, 44, whatever that was, he had did it on the last possession wins, right? And how he had blossomed into a quarterback. He was the fastest player to reach 40,000 yards in the passing, and he was one of the, I think, top 5 or 6 guys to throw over 5,000 yards in one season. And um, Matthew Stafford, I guess you would say, after earning Pro Bowls honors before, he's earned a right to be here in the Super Bowl. Um, and so here he is, former first round pick out of Georgia. He did have 17 interceptions this year,
Mm.
but he
Hmm.
and his counterpart Burrow had 14 interceptions this year. So, but we're gonna go with the flavor. I'm going with the flavor right now, and that seems to be Burrows, who's smoking a cigar. Seems like he's still relishing the LSU days and his winning days. Uh, Even though Burrows was sacked more than any other quarterback this year. But the way he, as they would say, deal with the pressure in the pocket, and he still found a way to win this past year. So I'm gonna go with that. The cooler, smoother, under pressure. Yeah, he's wearing his jacket right there and his coat, cigar smoking, and the guy looks like he's just ready to win a Super Bowl. I'm gonna go with Burrows and the Bengals uh, this week.
Well,
All
I think
right.
it's going to be one of the most exciting Super Bowls we've seen in a while. One, because Tom Brady's not in it, so everybody's like, it's not saying, "Hey, Tom Brady's going to win." But these are two quarterbacks that really, especially Burrow, never seen the big spotlight. Matt Stafford has always been one of my favorite quarterbacks. Even in the losing days of the Lions, he still, you could see that he had that winning mentality, that he had that dog in him, even when he was losing in Detroit. In those years he had Megatron put up a lot of numbers on the Matt Stafford. I think there was two Georgia boys right there hooking up. And I think Odell Beckham, we talking about the quarterbacks, of course, but Odell Beckham got something to prove on this team. I know Aaron Donald wants a Super Bowl. Miller's probably hungry for another one. So, and Cooper Cup want to top that season off. He had one of the best seasons he's ever had, so I'm sure he wants to top that off and have a Super Bowl ring. And on the other side, we just got those young guys that they ain't got nothing to lose. You got a second year guy in Burrow. I think both of their wide receivers are either first year or second year with Chase and Higgins. They ain't got nothing to lose, and they're going to be one of those teams that we're going to be looking forward to every year. Joe Mixon, I think he needs to have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a nice Super Bowl, and I just want. I don't know what have I seen. I haven't seen too many people give a shout out, but the Cincinnati Bengals are making it to a Super Bowl, regardless of who are on that team. Always, I'm gonna give Coach Lewis, that was there for some Marvin Lewis, some props because he stuck it out. He never could get over that hump, but Marvin Lewis, this Super Bowl is for you.
All right. Okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned here, and Reggie, you know that we talked about this before the playoffs. Um, what was one of the teams that I picked to make it once the playoffs began?
I forgot who did you pick?
Cincinnati.
You picked since I picked when they made the trade for Matt Stafford at the beginning of the year. I picked Los Angeles. It was either the Raiders or for me or this team was going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And but it was more of a hunch, because it was kind of wanting that fairy tale Super Bowl where you had the 49ers and the Bengals playing each other, taking it back to the days when Montana had that last drive with the big touchdown to Taylor. But the Rams, they've been a favorite all year long, and they deserve to be in this spot, as you all mentioned earlier. A great trade um, with bringing in Stafford for golf. It looks like that's paid off. But if you look at the
Hmm.
tail of the tape here, I don't necessarily agree with everything that some of the experts have put out here on the tail of the tape, but because I think that quarterback matchup, I think it should be a check mark on both sides on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, running game, I can go with Cincinnati. Um,
right.
and pass catchers, I could go with the Rams on that one. But even though Cincinnati have two major weapons there with Higgins and Chase, but the key to me is right there where you see the D line, and I think that the Rams defensive line is what's going to be the difference in this particular matchup.
Yeah,
Cincinnati's quarterback has been sacked a million times, and I think the issue with them having like that lack of that offensive line, you don't want Aaron Donald and then Von Miller, you know, to really wreak havoc there. So I'm thinking that that line is going to be the difference in this one to separate the two teams. So my prediction will be the Los Angeles Rams will win this Super Bowl. Even though I'm happy for the Bengals, I'm actually happy for both teams that made it. They're not necessarily my teams, but I'm just happy that they were able to give us something interesting here.
right. My pick, I didn't
All
mention.
right.
We're doing picks now.
Oh, yeah. My bad. You need to go ahead and give your prediction now, Reggie. Let's go
Of
back to
course,
you.
I'm going with the Rams. I would. I'm going
Okay.
with the Rams, but either team win, I'm going to be excited
Got
for.
two Rams and a Bengal, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see
All
what
right.
happens.
Yeah. We'll see how it all pan out. All right. So, not the Super Bowl is a huge event and it happens every year. But what also happens in the National Basketball Association every year is the trade deadline, and so we're going to talk about that. But before we jump into the trade deadline, we do have to pay, a bill or two. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to, give homage to our sponsor, and that's Heavenly Spa Mobile. And that's 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101-A, Macon, Georgia 31204. Latanya can be reached at 478-747-9231. That's 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, our major sponsor, where relaxation is the key. And as always, we like to let Miss Latanya reinforce what I just said and let her say it for herself.
Hi, I'm Latanya with Healthy Spa Mobile. I'm a licensed massage therapist and owner. I've been practicing 18 years. If you're in need of any stress relief, tension, muscle, body aches, or just want to relax, you need to get yourself a massage. And please come check me out again at Heavenly Spa Mobile. I'm located at 2484 Ingleside Avenue. And I can be reached at 478-747-9231. Or you may go online to healthyspa-mobile.com. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Spa, for all that you do for the 411 Sportsworld Show. And before we move forward to the NBA talk, also with Heavenly Spa Mobile, don't forget their introductory special. It's just $70. I mean, you can't beat that. $70 intro special for an hour. That's 60 minutes. Swedish or the deep tissue massage. And so take advantage of that opportunity there and reach out to Heavenly Spa Mobile. Fellas, it's time, man. The NBA trade deadline has come and gone. And now, man, what kind of moving and shaking has been going on, man? We got to talk about it. We got to jump into the big one. So I want your thoughts on the trade deadline. Let's start with what's going on between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the James Harden for Ben Simmons swap. I mean, what is your take on that? What's your thoughts on that, E?
Oh man, I mean, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the season. Ever since Ben didn't want to play, um, and everything's been going on, and that's just trickled down through the entire league. I mean, what happened today is something that was inevitable. We heard James Harden talk about maybe 2 weeks ago when James was at the podium and he was telling the reporters, his posture was a hand on the side of his face and said, "Where did you hear that? Did you hear that from me?" And so we know James, like many other players, you can call it being professional and lying. You can call it keeping it in the locker room and just nothing is wrong. But James is a guy that's going to make his way prosperous, I guess you could say, the way he wants to make his way prosperous, which is, athletes today have a tendency to do that in any sport. And I guess we can see so much so in the National Basketball Association. But in my opinion, let's just see. But my opinion is that James and Embiid will work well together. James and Embiid work well together. The Nets get Ben Simmons and Seth Curry, sharpshooter Curry, and they get they get Drummond, and they get the 22nd and 27th picks in the first round. So it appears to me that James got a chance to get back with GM Morey. He gets the play to leave out of New Jersey, so they have to put up with Mr. Kyrie, all world knowledge, knowing everything, Irving. And it just, in my thought, if Embiid can stay healthy and James go and play, and they have the third shooter with them, gosh, now it appears to me that they will probably win the title because I just don't think that even with Kevin Durant back with the Nets, the recovery, that they have enough to hold off Philadelphia. And of course, we got Milwaukee too. But like I said, the story of the day through all the picks of today was what was that big one. And I just want to run something past you right quick too. And I know the big story is James Harden, but just think about this: Dennis Schroeder went to Houston, okay, from Boston, and Washington traded Montreal Harris to Charlotte, okay, which is going to make them tougher.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the Bucks got
Yeah.
Shabaka, which if he's healthy and strong, he's going to he's going to add strength to the Bucks. The Mavericks traded Kristaps Porzingis to Washington, and I think that the Mavericks with getting Spencer Dinwiddie, boy, that's going to really help the Mavericks. Dinwiddie is a good defender. He's long. He can play defense, two-way player. He can shoot. He wanted to be a leader, as he said there in Washington, but it didn't work out for him. And also, let's go out west for a minute. Aaron Holiday went to the Suns from Washington, and he's going to free up for the Suns. Cameron Payne is out. So it was some good movement for most of those teams in the East. But we see the West got a lot out of the deal too. We'll talk about the Lakers in a minute, but
we'll hold off on that for just a minute.
It was a good move for Philadelphia, I think. And if Embiid can stay healthy, it'll be a good thing. They're definitely trending in the right way. It's just amazing how some players like James Harden, can move his way around through the league.
Okay, what say you, Reggie?
I don't know what is going on with most of these people on ESPN or what's going on with Eric, because I think people keep thinking James Harden is 5 years younger and that he's in Houston. James, Tyrone, they've been talking about this trade forever, and I've been one that was like, no, we can't get rid of James Harden. But when I look at it, Ben Simmons is like my second best favorite player in the league, actually. So when I looked at it today, I was like, I don't know why people are saying that Philadelphia got better. I think they got worse. And Nets got way better. And the Nets can get better. Philly gave up way too much for a player that they know. I guess they didn't have any leverage in the deal because they know Ben Simmons is on the way out. But to give up Seth Curry, to give up Drummond, and to give up 2 draft picks along with that, I have never seen a trade where a team says, I'm going to give you everything you need to beat me. So, I'm going to take one of your worst defenders and give you my best defender. Oh, Joe Harris is out. You need shooting. Here's Seth Curry. You can have him. There's a shooting that you need. Oh, you don't have any bigs in the middle? You need another big. Here you go. Here's Andre Drummond. Here you go. Hey, James, come on. Let's hang out. Him and Daryl Morey's going to hang out. You give all that to hang out with somebody. James Harden and Embiid, of course, they're going to be good. But I don't see them being people saying they're going to be in the finals. I don't see them beating Miami because Miami is too hard of a defensive team to just get past. They're going to have trouble with Miami if they face Miami. If they face Milwaukee, they're going to have trouble with Milwaukee because they have defense at the point guard and shooting guard position, and of course you have Giannis. They gave Brooklyn everything they need. So I just don't see them getting better, and I don't think Doc Rivers is going to figure out James Harden. For that, nobody's looking at that. He is not going to figure out James Harden. James Harden is not Chris Paul. James Harden, I think he may be leading the league or second. No, Chris is leading the league in assists, and I think James is either second or third in the league in assists. But I mean, this just blew me away. Thank you, Philadelphia, for giving us everything we need to beat you if we see you.
Don't let it blow you away, because I just want you to think about something for me. It's kind of like this right here. You know, we were hoping the Hawks were going to do better, right? And we saw and we noticed Cam, okay, Cam, you know, thinking he's better than everybody else, thought he should have been playing for the Hawks right here.
Mm-hmm.
Cam was traded. The Hawks went on a 7-8 game winning streak, right? Only reason why they didn't win the next game because Trey was injured as the Lakers came into town 2 Sundays ago and beat up on Trey, but the Hawks still won. It's about chemistry. It's about the force and the power of the individual, the way he sells himself. It's about the body language. It's about Daryl Morey and Harden got this thing together, right? It's about the politics of sports on every different level, right? It's about, you say, giving up. Morey thinks that he can win right now with a 20 and 10 point guard or guard, James Harden. James is going to get you 20. James is going to get you 10 assists. We know what Embiid is going to do. He's subject to go off as long as he's healthy for 25 and 14 on any night. He can shoot the three. He can go inside. We know that Tobias Harris is capable of getting you 25 on any night. And then Tyrese Maxey, he's coming on. Of course, he can't do what Ben could do. But, and as for coaching, can Doc Rivers coach? Tell me this here. What coach in the NBA actually coaches his players? So James is going to go out, and it's about right now. Yes, on the paper, it looks crazy. I said the same thing. Gosh, they gave up 2 first rounders, and this, it's about right now for Morey. It's about right now. He's let this thing drag out. They want to get something the best they could. It's about communication and relationship. He is kind of he's acting like he's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he got. I think he did get the best that he could with getting James Harden out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, who's there, Morey? You had Harden, and of course, people are going to say, "Yeah, you ran into Golden State," but you also missed what 29 threes in a row. Daryl Morey, he was the number one guy with those analytics and all that stuff. He hasn't proved nothing to me that he's a good GM. He really hasn't. He's just a name to me, and his name is attached to James Harden.
Right.
So I don't get it. I really don't understand this trade because James Harden was going to be a free agent. So to me, Brooklyn really won. He was going to walk away. There wasn't going to get anything from him. So to get Ben Simmons, people may dog Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is an all-star. He had one bad series.
But who runs the
don't.
league? It's people like Ben Simmons, James Harden, LeBron James, Antetokounmpo that actually run the league. And yes, you heard what I said. Yeah. James doesn't really care about whether he's going to walk away. He's going to get $200 million or $180 million anyway. He just wants to win right now.
Whoa. James Harden does not want to win.
Yeah, he wants to win.
James Harden don't want to win.
James wants to win.
James Harden
he wants the perfect situation. Hey, what did I say?
James Harden.
Say, James sit there in that body posture. It's the same thing about Cam. When you watch Cam in Atlanta, he thought he was better than the other players. And he
You
said,
gonna quit dogging Cam because I like Cam Reddish, so you gonna quit dogging Cam.
but I can still do this in New York. I can become the player I need to become. Nobody really cares about you, Cam. Trust me. Thibodeau don't even want Cam, right?
No,
All the huff and fluff. But the people that can make things happen, whether you like it or not. Let me give you an example, Ray. I know we're going all over the place, but listen, LeBron is partly responsible for the team that he has.
Yeah,
oh
And
yeah,
and we're
if you
gonna
can
get to
remember
that one too.
now, if you can remember now, I said at the beginning of the season, I felt Westbrook would be able to go out there and
no,
hit the.
no, don't touch the Lakers shit. Please don't touch him yet.
I
Please
said,
don't touch him
Yeah,
yet.
we're gonna.
Don't touch the Lakers shit.
I said he'll be able to change his game, and if they stay healthy, they might win. But I'm going to go with Brooklyn. I'm going to go with Milwaukee. Anything can happen in the NBA.
Tyrone,
Yeah. Okay. So let
That's
me
what
jump.
makes
Let me. All right. So let me jump in here for a minute.
yeah.
I wanted you guys and you all the analysts on here tonight, and I just wanted to kind of throw my little mix in here with it. Because the Harden and Simmons is the biggest thing out here right now. It's the big piece of the meal, right?
the
Um,
big picture.
this trade, in my opinion, it benefits both organizations. We can always weigh it and say which organization got the better end. I personally feel like the Nets got the better end of the deal, but this is a great trade for both teams, and here's why. Look at this right here with the Nets. Now when they're on the same court together, they're darn near unstoppable. They put three of those guys scored over 100 points combined together. These three did against Boston in the playoffs one game. So you know what they were capable of. But here's the problem: all three of these guys get injured, and as you can see, they only played 16 games together. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So for that alone, it's not really as bad as people think about Harden leaving the Nets. Now on the other side of that, Ben Simmons, right? He missed a lot of time in Philadelphia, and that's putting it lightly. But Ben Simmons has been out so long, he was getting hammered here. 235 days out, 19.4 million coming out of his pocket. That's a lot of money. But for him to miss 235 days, I mean, both teams needed to do something, and they both needed each other. It's kind of like, they was in a situation where they both needed something, and they both looking at each other, and it's like, here, you take my issue. He'll feel better over there with you, and I'll give you my issue, and he'll feel better over there with you. It was like almost like the trade had to be made. And so, with that said, I'll just touch on Philadelphia real quick. I think that the Philadelphia fans, they are a tough fan base in that city, but they did Ben Simmons wrong. Ben
Mm-hmm.
Simmons is an all NBA player. He's an all-star level player. He's made all-stars. He's made all NBA team defense. I mean, rookie of the year. I mean, this guy can get it done. Just because he doesn't score the basketball the way the audience wants him to doesn't mean he's a bad player. We a lot of times we omit the defense. We omit the playmaking, and his size is going to make a huge difference for the Nets. You have him and Durant now just wreaking havoc everywhere on defense. And the Drummond thing, that's an icing on the cake. Because Drummond now can match up with a Giannis, give you some fouls, play some physical play. And now we're going
Mm-hmm.
to see Drummond, who, if you look at the nights when Embiid doesn't play, Drummond comes back and give you the 15 and 20 rebounds when
Right.
he's able to start. So imagine what the Nets have really come up on this deal. It's a really great move there. Now for Philadelphia, Harden and Embiid are going to be impossible to stop. they're going to light it up. I mean, they're going to light it up. You can't guard neither one of these players. And Harden is a maestro when it comes to that pick and roll. And so and you have a big and Embiid that can finish inside and outside. They're going to get that done. It's going to be all up to those players that remain on the Sixers roster to step up. I know you mentioned Maxey and another guys like that. We'll see now. We'll see what the development is on them, and they'll have that playing time to do that. I think Thibel's a good defender, so that's gonna, that's gonna help mediate some things there too for Philadelphia. So I think it's a great trade for both teams. Um, Blockbuster news, and the playoffs will be exciting. They're gonna meet at some point in the playoff, and that's when we're gonna really see it. I think the Bucks will be on the opposite side of the bracket, but we're gonna see that Sixers Nets matchup, and that'll tell it all right there for us. Anything else on the Nets and
Yeah,
Brooklyn?
I
I mean the
want to
Nets
say
and Sixers.
when you was talking about Ben Simmons, and you were saying that how
Yeah.
good he was, how good he was. It reminds me of that Boston team when they had Rondo, a young Rondo, and everybody wanted them to get
Mm-hmm.
rid of Rondo for Jason Kidd. Was it Jason Kidd or
Yeah.
Tony Parker? One of the two.
Chris
They
Paul.
wanted. It was
Yeah.
Parker. They wanted to get
They
rid of
wanted Chris
Rondo
Paul over there.
because Rondo couldn't shoot. Look
Mm-hmm.
at Rondo today. He's smart as one of the smartest players in the league. To me, the stats don't prove it, but besides Chris Paul, I think Rondo is one of the greatest point guards when it comes to basketball IQ. His shot making got better. So for me, it's just he's just the same. Ben Simmons is basically Rondo to me, but he's better than Rondo, and I think he will learn how to shoot now. I think he's coming in with a gigantic chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going. This second half of the first half of the season been kind of quiet. We had injuries or whatever. This second half of the season, it's been really we finna really get into it.
Good
Oh
And,
yeah,
entertainment.
it's
and
on now.
yeah,
Yeah. And
it's
you know
really
what?
on now.
What better time it could be happening? Got All-Star break coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything that happens after All-Star break,
Right.
some players will be rested. Some people, some guys will say, "Hey, I made the All-Star this year. Okay, now it's time to play." So, what better time could this happen than
Mm-hmm.
right now before the All-Star
Yeah.
break?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
And
this playoffs is gonna be you're gonna have Jai in the playoffs. Jai said he's climbing up the chimney because he wants all the smoke. So
yeah, he wants all of it.
yes, I cannot wait to the playoffs. Boy, it's gonna be a good one. 411. I'm gonna be with Mr. 411 during the playoffs. I really can't wait. I'm really so excited. When that trade went down, I got so excited. I'm like, okay, let me renew this NBA TV subscription.
It definitely got
All
better.
right. Hey, and yeah, and check this out too, fellas. I mean, we need to throw this out there because I think the Karis LeVert trade, um the Karis LeVert trade to the Cavaliers, that is a trade that,
That
you
is
know,
whoa. That
need to
the
really be
Cavaliers is
looked
gonna be
at.
something. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, because Karis LeVert is looking to, he's a scorer, and
Mm-hmm.
he's went to a team that built a nice young core. They have nice bigs, they have nice perimeter players. They play well together. They're building that thing in Cleveland the right way, and adding
Right.
LeVert does nothing but help them, help increase their ability to go deep and make a deep playoff run.
I love
I
that team
think
because they're
Cleveland,
so.
their arrow is
It's like
pointing
they're real
way.
selfless. It's no star
Yeah,
on that team,
yeah.
so I like that team is gonna be a
Hmm.
problem in the playoffs for people, and Miami is gonna be a problem.
I want
So
y'all to
Yeah.
think about
Okay.
something for the remainder of the season, okay? Regardless of the players, right? And these are impact players. When players are denying, players are lying.
mm,
Watch
There you
players
go.
lying, players are lying. And then number two, which is equally as important, watch body postures on the floor as well as huddle timeouts. 2 points of emphasis for the remainder of the season. I know that sounds like some referee stuff, uh, but players that are
Yes, sir.
denying are players that are lying. And then watch body postures at timeouts, walking off the floor, coming on the floor, the quick camera shots that you might see. It tells a lot about what's going on in the locker room, the things that we can't necessarily see. And that spells a lot out of what's going to happen for the remainder of the season.
Your thoughts on Cj McCullough?
Oh wow, I forgot about that. Number one, if he stays healthy, I really wish he would have went to a contender. I prayed that he went to Boston, but I don't know because I really don't like the Pelicans organization for one thing. For CJ, so is he in a long term deal there, or is he free to go next year?
Well, we have to put that on the social media page, but we'll find out.
But the thing about that is, we know that McCullum is another consummate professional, right?
Hmm.
We look at this guy,
Yeah.
and in
Mm-hmm.
he, the new president of the association, Players Association, I think
Oh
he is.
wow, yeah.
I just think if Pelicans, if the big fella, the young big fella, wasn't hurt, right, and then they have Ingram, and
Hmm.
if they were healthy and playing. So if he can go down there and be that veteran that he is, and show that leadership, who knows, when they
Mm-hmm.
become healthy, we may have some interest in Pelican basketball.
Right. If he brings his personality onto that team and they adapt his personality, I think they can be a
And
contender.
that's kind of one thing that I say about the Dallas Mavericks. I think with them getting Dinwiddie, oh my goodness, Dinwiddie is ready to lead,
Yeah.
follow, to play. Uh,
Yeah.
so let's see what's happening. It's going to make it very interesting. Again,
Yeah,
good
that was a
energy.
nice move for them.
Yeah. The Serge Ibaka move for
Yeah. And you see what
the Bucks,
and
that was a big pickup. That was a big pickup for them
that
also.
was yeah, big pickup. Another defender. I mean, now you have
Right.
you have Giannis, but now you have Serge. I mean, another player that fits. And we're gonna have to do this, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about the Lakers, but our friend Rod, who is a avid Laker fan as well as I am, he's gonna join us. I just got the 411 on that, if you will, on Monday. He'll be flying in and he'll be ready to be on Monday. So we're gonna really chop it up Lakers because we have a lot to say about that. As you can tell, he was ready to expose some information. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to give you that tease, and you have to come back on Monday with the Laker talk. But fit, and just keep that in mind over the weekend when we talk about,
All right.
we're looking forward to that conversation. Fit, and I like what Ibaka brings to the table in Milwaukee. And there's one more. There's one more, Reggie and E. This went way under the radar, but the Kings traded Halliburton basically for Sabonis. And here's another trade that's under the radar that I think benefits both teams. What do you all think?
Oh, no doubt about it. We know that Halliburton is coming on strong right now, and we know what Sabonis can do. I mean, what more can you
Hmm.
say? It could be fitting for both teams. Again, what happened today? What happened today? It just add more energy and entertainment to the sport that we like so very much, and the sport that the guys, the players themselves, have a lot of control, and it is very healthy. It's very good,
Mm-hmm.
and people need movement. But that trade, what you just mentioned, I think it's gonna work out well for both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we jump onto the Lakers,
Yeah.
why do you think that Miles Turner didn't get moved?
Well, we're gonna tease. Well, I'm gonna answer that question too, Reggie. But we're gonna tease everyone with the Lakers for Monday,
Oh,
so we can
okay.
get Rob back on here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But your question about Miles Turner, it is so funny that you mentioned that because I thought really that Sabonis was going to end up in Phoenix, and that was going to be checkmate because if Phoenix get them a post player that they can give the ball to when the game stalls, that would have been money for them. But maybe Miles Turner could be that guy because I think I think that the Pacers were looking to move both players during this trade season. So for Miles Turner, there's going to be a lot of interest for him, and
Right.
I it may not be over yet. It may not be over yet on him, because I'm hearing that the Nets are looking at him. So be on the lookout for the Nets. But I think a dark horse will be Phoenix as well. So keep an eye on that situation. But yeah, Miles Turner's a monster to me too. I think him and Sabonis are about the same type of player. Maybe Miles is a little more aggressive on the defensive end, but a team, a playoff caliber team, a championship level type team, if they add Miles Turner, that can be a significant difference to get one of them over the top. What'd you say?
No doubt about it. I mean, I don't know what else can be said
Would
about that. That proven players, they're young, energetic. Both of them are willing participants. We know that. I think you mentioned Miles Turner, right? He's been unhappy for
right.
a very long time, and that change of scenery may do the young fella just what he needs.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, look, we are right here at the buzzer. Man, it was great talking with you guys. We covered the NFL, we covered the NBA. There's still way more to go with this. Um, I definitely hope that we can make sure that we reconvene and get that Laker talk in on Monday. Rod, can't wait to have him on so he can give his opinion on that situation as well. It's going to be brewing all weekend between us. I know in our production meetings we're going to have a lot of good things to say, interesting topics, so we can come back and give it to the audience again. But I definitely thank you guys for being on, and I thank everybody for watching. So, any parting shots,
Yeah, I want to send a message
parting
out to
statements before we get out of
LeBron.
here?
I want to send a message out to LeBron. Don't drink too much wine and don't think too much.
You know what I want to say? Get well, KD. Let's make this run. Let's make this push. That's all. We gonna be ready. And Super Bowl weekends. Everybody have fun. Be safe.
Yeah, go Bengals.
All right. From two Rams and a Bengal.
2 Rams and a Bengals.
There, he's Reggie, he's Eric, and I'm Mr. 411. We thank everybody for watching and listening. You have a good night. We'll see you.
See you next time.
Thanks.